You are listening to the audiobook Veilshatter, Legends of Elyndar, now available on Amazon, Audible, and wherever books are sold, featuring our three unforgettable heroes. An epic adventure begins.
Warning in runes. Sengrel's silhouette cut through the gathering fog that swirled low along the market plinth's base, his figure rough-hewn and solid against the flicker of rune lanterns lining the scholar's ward. Liora's feet dragged over rain-darkened tiles, every motion heavy with the dregs of spent magic. The city felt raw and listening, stonework humming beneath her step, wards smoldering faintly in the hush after her vision. Even her own name felt strange upon her tongue, as if the veil had gnawed it into an unfamiliar shape. Senn gestured her forward, voice low. Here. His hand hovered above the plinth's flared edge, all scuffed gray stone, inset with a constellation of runes that pulsed honeygold, then guttered like a heart caught mid-beat. The market had not yet returned to life. Shadows sprawled where once the breadmongers and spirit callers bartered at first bell. Liora's bones ached for movement, for the crowd's shelter, but even the air was empty. No footsteps but theirs, no wiry laughter, not even the peal of bells from broken arches. The world had narrowed to lamplight, fog, and the strange tension coiling between them. Senn wiped his palm across his brow, kneeling with a caution born of old wounds. His half-dwarven heritage showed in his broad, weathered hands and the proud arch of his eyebrows, but tonight his whole frame looked frailer, burdened by secrets that refused to stay safely forgotten. His knuckles rasped along the base of the plinth, seeking pattern amidst ruin. "See these?" he said, voice threading into incantation. "Not the outer script. They're fresh, laid by the market watch last flood tide. Here, under, beneath it, map etched, almost lost. That's old council work, lass, before the Senate, before the lament." She knelt beside him, suppressing the shiver that rippled up her arms. Feeling returned with painful clarity, soap-frosted air, the ache where magic had torn through her marrow. Senn's finger traced the ancient lines, a hooked curve winding to a knuckle-like knot, runes that glimmered blind and deep as well water. Liora blinked. At once, she read not words, but echoes, the taste of cinder, the bite of running wind, the pulse of some farther world pressing thin against the stone. Senn's breath came ragged. These are warning runes, watching runes too, set in the old tongue, so deep most rune menders miss them, thinking them ornamental. But I know these forms. They recorded threat-born prophecy. A silence gathered, viscous and cold. From some unseen corner a Varelian songbird warbled one tentative note, all shine and sorrow before vanishing. Liora found her own voice brittle. Prophecy? From when the city split from itself? Or after the night the mirrors took? Neither, Senn interrupted. Or both. Look, Liora. He squared his jaw. Not just warning, but a naming. The rune that means boundary, see the double tail, intersects the old mark for unmaker. These lines thread fate through stone, and fate through stone never leaves willingly. He brushed away a web of market dust. This part, here, it's nearly rubbed smooth. In the old codex, that glyph meant the Dark's vessel. I believe, his lips pressed together, a line of thunder in his face. I believe it names the Veilborn. The Lord beneath mirrors, the one your power called. Liora's heart thudded, as if raw lightning cracked through her ribs. Her hands hovered above the rune, skin crawling. Resonance prickled in her teeth, a static warning her soul-weaving wanted desperately to answer. Instead, she drew back, willing her breath slow and steady. The exhaustion was a shield now. Depleted, her soul felt less like a window and more like a closed door. "How do you know?" she asked, whisper thin. "You said the old words are half lost, Senn." Senn's eyes, black as agate, never left hers. Last moondark a council prelate paid me to catalog forgotten runes before the new warding. I don't think she knew what she was searching for, not truly. Even the Senate fears these sigils. They're not spoken of in the arch records. 2 days ago, these runes surged with light for the first time since the Pact of Shattered Crowns. I saw it with my own eyes. A surge like dawn through obsidian. He straightened, grim, shoulders hunched like crumpled wings. You saw the night of mawing mirrors in your dream. But this is different. The city's foundation is shifting. The Watchers, old magi lost to name, left us warning. And the meaning is clear only if you read the runes beneath the ones etched since. The memory of her vision swelled up, all shards and blinding pain. The faces behind glass. The unquenched hunger at the world's edge, waiting, patient as tide. She shut her eyes, searching for faith. Faith that she was more than what haunted her footsteps. But her voice was iron as she asked, "What does it say?" The whole meaning, not just the warning. Senn's hand stilled. Properly, it's song speech. The translation tastes bitter, but give me a moment. He set his palm flat against the cold stone, eyes half closing as he summoned the rhythms of old families, old tales. A faint blue glow seeped through his fingers, and Liora's eardrums hummed, as if the runes themselves whispered. He recited, rough-hewn and solemn, "In the year the glass devours memory, the boundary thins and opens. Beware the unmaker's herald, for shadowed soul and mirror's mouth will speak as one. Let those who remember gather, lest fates divide and names unravel. When the plinth stones bleed, the night shall not be empty." Liora's chills deepened. The words rang with unnatural weight, echoing backward and forward. Prophecy as living thing, sticky and unresolved, the kind found only in the deep undertow of city dreams. The plinth's runes shimmered faintly brighter, then dulled, as if exhausted by their own revelation. "The stones bleed," she murmured, tracing the calloused whorls of her thumb against the groove where blood, her blood, had marked her only minutes before. But it was not just her wound. The very city was opening veins, history and warning mingling in unseen currents. Senn drew back. Ancient ones believed place and prophecy are joined. Some corners shout fate, others only whisper. This plinth is old, older than the bridges, older than these walls. The warnings live here, whether we want them or not. He was trembling now, not with cold, but with a historian's horror, the terror that comes from recognizing the lived echo of a fable, better left dormant. "You must find others of your kind," he urged, voice roughened by urgency. "The Senate knows nothing of soul-weaving's true hungers. But the prophecy speaks. Shadowed soul and mirror's mouth will speak as one. The Unmaker's herald." He hesitated, his gaze a compass fixed by absolutes. "You. Or someone like you. If the Veilborn, is searching for a bridge, the boundary thins for them. And for your kind, it can break." Liora shook her head, half in defiance, half in aching fear. "I am not a herald. I am barely myself. My power." She pressed a fist to her chest, knuckles white. The hollow where her magic had run dry ached mournfully, echoing every loss she'd tasted, every yearning laced through her bones. Senn's hand dropped to her shoulder, weight a reminder of both comfort and command. "That's what makes you dangerous, the hungry and the hollow. The city's wards can only hold as long as those who walk within them remember who we are." His fingers squeezed. "Seek others. There must always be more than one remembering." Go to the river market. Find where the memory runners gather. They know ways you and I do not. If the Senate's questions come, you must already be gone. A sound broke the stillness. Metal on stone, distant, deliberate. Liora's eyes darted to the far alley, where lantern gold wavered and split at the approach of figures clad in slate, gild cloaks drawn about narrow shoulders. Elixir-craft alchemists, their vials clinking, their eyes hollow with sleepless intent. The guild regulated potions and memory drafts, but tonight they seemed gathered by some darker pull. Above them, a flicker, a shadow resolved into something hunched and shrouded, passing silently across the archway, an eclipse thrall, face hidden, bearing a relic swaddled in stricken black silk. She willed herself smaller, lungs squeezed flat. Senn drew a tattooed finger to his lips in warning. "Don't let them catch your scent, Soul Weaver," he breathed. "They'd unspool your memories for coin, or else bind your mouth in runes." A sharp pain lanced her chest as she recalled her own power's cost. The exhaustion sheltered her, but barely. Stray memory motes spun at her periphery, sidling toward her soul's thin edges. She clamped down, anchoring herself with simple sensation. Stone cold beneath her knees, salt air sharp and bracing. Senn's prickly beard scraping her shoulder as if defiance alone could shield them. The eclipse thrall's gaze, she felt it, an oily caress sliding across her skin, questing, hungry for the trace of soul work. The thrall paused, hissing a phrase that curdled in the air, an incantation in the half-forgotten tongue of the mawing night. The relic beneath its cloak throbbed, casting a slug of shadow across the plinth. Senn's whisper snapped her to the living moment. "Run! Take the riverways. Ghost through the old spice alleys. Find Ariel Sormir if you can. She's your kin in memory, and she's twice as stubborn as you ever were." The warning in his words mirrored the dread in her bones. She wanted to argue, to stay, some stubborn pride refusing to flee. But prophecy here wasn't a thing to debate. It was a tide to survive. She bowed to Senn, awkward, hurried, alive with the terror of being hunted by both prophecy and predator. "I'll find them. I'll not let the city bleed for me alone," she promised, voice trembling. Senn nodded, eyes bright beneath storm-mapped brows. "We're already stories, you and I. Best we write the next page before the shadows do." She turned, bolting down the sidemost alley, careful not to brush the fevered wards with her palm. The plinth behind her burned in the darkness, old runes shining a warning to the empty air, and perhaps to any living soul who cared to see. Her passage sent memory motes swirling, a flock of starlings rising in her wake. Somewhere in the maze ahead, the river's gleam promised both refuge and further peril. The prophecy's pulse beat within her, a rhythm echoing outside heart or boundary, as if the city's secret voice urged her onward, urging her to gather others before the boundary thinned to nothing, and the shadowed lord claimed the stones of Avestra as his own. The sky above sighed, as if the world might yet break with the dawn. And Liora ran, prophecy and warning stitched into her every hurried breath, toward whatever brittle hope the morning might yield.